Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
Anyways, why don't we just hop into what we do around here? You know
Hop
what I'm saying?
in.
Let's just do it.
Just like those fools, hopping right in.
It's that time to talk about Bachelorette on our show. Yes, this show provides all the Bachelorette stuff, but before we get talking about Bachelorette, YouTube, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop Bachelorette content just like this. And if you just did, oh my goodness, huge shout out to you. Ooh, wee, air horns for you. You know, we got to shout out our comment crew every time.
Hell yeah.
That's the people that, you know, leave a comment on our videos and you get a shout out and, you know, immortalized in our show forever and ever, evergreen. So
Our digital footprint is out there.
yeah, and we're sharing it with you guys. So we got to shout out the OG crew, the Nancy Drew crew, Catherine Ann, Chelsea Allen, Kathleen Kent, Marion SP, Marty's back in the building. We got Beth Wenger. She's a regular now. And new to the chat is Sunny Days 00. What up, Sunny Days? Welcome to the party, you know? Yeah, I'm loving this. We had a great week on YouTube. Great week in general, but great week for YouTube. You know, I feel like every new season we get another batch of people coming in here, more views, more subscribers. So, you know, shout out to the day ones, but I really got to commend everyone that's kind of joining our tribe now, you know, while we're small and mighty, because, you know, this is really where we can get intimate with our I hate to call them followers, but with our people, you know, just because once it gets,
audience.
you know how it is. Like once you start subscribing to people with like 1 million like subscribers and stuff, like it's just like who knows who all those people are. But I'll never forget y'all, you know. So you know, join if you want to be one of those people. Just you know, leave a comment, let us know you subscribed. You're you know to the family and everything, and you know you get a shout out on the show. This is the moment where we want to you know have a comment of the week. So our comment of the week actually comes from the homie Kathleen Kent. So she says, Brayden brings confidence. And I wanted to bring up this comment of the week because, yes, I agree. He does bring confidence in one sense. But in another sense. Yeah, in another sense, I feel like he's actually a little not confident, you know, because I mean we'll get into it as we talk about it this week, but you know, what are your thoughts on Brayden in a nutshell before we kind of dive into this episode and really
we dive into it?
Yeah.
I feel like he's overcompensating. I think you know he's a lot of talk. I think we'll get more into it. Like some of it, it's not that I disagree with everything he says, but because some of the stuff I do agree with, but I think he is a lot of talk. And sometimes I think he needs to know when to shut his mouth too. Like I think he thinks being confident needs to look a certain way. And sometimes he's doing too much. Much like I said about his accessories and some other people commented it as well. Sometimes it's just too much. And I'm not one to say like that, you know, somebody's too much, like you're too much, but I think he's doing too much. There's some things that he's just doing too much of.
Yeah,
to maybe cover for other things.
Yeah, I could agree. I could agree.
Gets him in trouble.
I think you know, when he has like waves for me. Like I really understand why it's confusing for Charity because it's confusing for me because you know the first week I was all about him. Second week I was not about him. This week I'm like, you know, there was other people that I actually you know weren't feeling as much. So and he kind of was like you know I don't know. He showed some different sides to him. I would say this episode, but. You know, thank you for that comment, Kathleen. You know, we'll really expand on this answer with our recap of what happened this week. So, V, where do we start with week 3?
Yes. So Charity visits the boys at the mansion and says, you know, we're making moves. I love the beach. We're going to Oceanside, California. So they're loading up most of the dudes in the bus. But she's like, but because I'm here, that means a one-on-one date's happening right now. And she calls our boy Brayden and takes him on the first helicopter ride of the season. I feel like in some of our past seasons, we've seen a lot of helicopter rides. I think Clayton's, we had like 6 over the course of the season, which was crazy. But this is the first one. That's how they're getting to the San Diego Oceanside area. And she starts by bringing him to the San Diego Padres Petco Park, which he's from that area. So like as they're like flying over, he's like, this is like where I grew up. This is blah, blah, blah. Also, they kind of like are laughing at the fact that they're flying over the mansion and the guys are like flipping them off and like whatever.
Yeah,
but
he was actually being like, I'm turning evil. And yeah. I don't know, like he was just enjoying it. Like, for someone that has seen a lot of helicopter dates from watching the show, he just was really embracing the moment. Like he was really giddy.
That's his vibe though. He's just kind of like, which maybe speaks to some of his immaturity. Maybe it doesn't, but
he's what, 24?
Yeah.
So I have this thing like in life where sometimes I don't know why I always do, but I always feel like people are older than me. Even though I'm old as hell now, but that's just because I'm young at heart. But he seems a lot older in the sense like maybe,
I do not get that vibe from him at all.
Like look wise, I feel like I don't know.
Maybe.
Definitely not his like his demeanor, but I don't know. So it's just like sometimes I have to like reel it back with him to realize that he's a younger dude. So.
Yeah,
and I also liked how he was like, wouldn't it be crazy if we just like landed there, and then they end up,
and then they do.
Yeah,
they land in the park.
Yeah,
they get little Padres jerseys that say Mr. and Mrs. Lawson, which I think is fun because that's Charity's last name. And so he's freaking out. Like this is like his team. This is his like whole vibe. They're having a good time, hanging out, playing ball, doing the whole bit. And meanwhile, like, Charity is like trying to figure out where he's at after last week's barbecue party. And like they're talking then and then hearing different things from Adrian, hearing different things from whoever. And so she's just trying to like really get him to open up more about like if he trusts her, if he can put trust into the process, if he can, really be like fight for it, because she goes on to say how like she's gonna fight for what she wants, and like she really, she's there to find a husband, to get engaged, and like she really likes him, so she wants him to like buy into it with her, because she's leveling with him, being like, I've been in your position before. Like, I I get why it's scary, but, and why you get feeling a certain way about not seeing me. Because that's like kind of what he keeps bringing up. He's like, I get jealous when I see other people, and like, and I don't know how to act, and like, blah, blah, blah. So,
I wonder if this would be such a big deal if like what you said earlier about him not like him saying too much, this is becomes right. Like something towards the end of the episode where he just like, it's his talking in the house that gets him in trouble, but almost like, right. I can't tell if it's the edit or just people are just like, insecure around him because he is getting, a lot of time with her up
He's
front.
Getting a lot of time.
I just feel like a lot of the guys are kind of like insecure when it comes to him, and then going to Charity and like, kind of making it a bigger deal than he actually, because his moments with Charity never feel like over the top. Like it just seems like he's opening up and being honest, I would say. Like, so far it seems like he's being honest.
I think I could see that he's trying to be vulnerable and stuff. I like the way that he kind of like brought up the whole, like how this experience is, bringing up his trauma of being cheated on and everything. To me, felt like he was like, or sort of explaining shit that she already knows because she's been through it herself. But like, I have to credit him for at least like being vulnerable about talking about like how it was making him feel, and like Charity gave him that credit as well, which great, but it just like, to me it's kind of like, no shit, dude. And he the whole thing is that he is saying at the end of their date that she's worth trying for, because he really is hung up on the aspect of the process of the idea of getting engaged, or saying that like he feels like he can do that. And that's like sort of where he's at. And he's like, you're worth trying, me going through this process. Cause like, this is what I'm struggling with the most, is what this looks like and how it feels as we're going through it. And her little, like he gives her that on a baseball, and then she gives him on a baseball, like a whole little note about thanking him for his vulnerability and like taking it one day at a time with him. And, and she even like, I feel like I think her therapy, like her, as her job and everything, really caters to this whole experience, this whole specific date and situation. Cause she even talks about how she's a natural nurturer, and she's making sure that that's not working against her. Cause she's like, in my past relationship and whatever, like I use that to overcompensate for a partner, and to like kind of like let them get away with stuff, because like I just like made them feel as comfortable as I could and like forgot my own feelings. And so she's worried about doing that with Brayden, which I get. But then I feel like at the same time, she like her experience and stuff is helping her kind of have a really level head about this, and say how, this isn't the perfect answer from him, but she's not expecting a perfect answer. And, this is a good answer for her to hold him to his word as they continue along with the process.
And so he gets the rose, and all is well for him for now.
For now.
Yeah. And then what happens next?
Meanwhile, while he's on that date and the rest of the dudes are just chilling back at the house once they finally get there to the new place, the new hotel, they kind of are talking about Brayden's negativity, because you're right. I think a lot of them see him as a threat, understandably so. But I also think because when he's back at the house talking with the dudes, and he's talking kind of negatively about the whole, like, when he's not on a high from being with Charity, he is kind of like being like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. Or at least that's what we've been seeing for the past 2 episodes now. And so some of them are talking about that. And they're all like, John and Xavier are both ones sitting there kind of staying quiet, but also gunning for a one-on-one. But they get the date card, and neither of them get that one-on-one. Warwick will get that. But they get their date card, and it says, like, Ken, Ken, you feel the love tonight. And they are set up with a group date that is Barbie-themed. Yeah,
I mean, it's just funny how they talk about negativity when it sounds like they're the ones that are actually being negative. It's one of those things where like it's just, you have to try your hardest to just not let other people get in your head. Whether or not it's intentional or unintentional, like you just can't. I mean, Brayden was like talking about how he had a dream of like, Charity taking the rose back and stuff, which is amazing foreshadowing.
Later in the episode,
but yeah, I mean, like those things, it's like, is that negative? I just think that's just him, being honest. Like, I mean,
but I think it's also like continuously bringing up the idea that like he doesn't know if he could do this, or he doesn't know if like he could be this way. And like, sure, some of them might be a little overly optimistic to be all like, I know she's the one or whatever, because I don't think that's super realistic. So it's like maybe some of it is more his version of realism could be sometimes negative.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I was just really interested in like this edit of Brayden this episode because I think there would be people that actually do like him in the house. Like I wonder if I would like him, if I was in the house. He must have friends in the house.
No,
so.
I think there are people who do. I think there are some people that we're seeing that are saying stuff about him. But yeah, I mean, just based on like what we get later to the episode, you could tell that he's talking to people and like not everybody's like talking back at him. So
so we go on this Barbie date, which is as much as I want to, I'm sure the movie's good and I want to see it myself. I'm kind of sick of all this promo. Like it's like we already know the Barbie movie is going to be great. Like this is just one big promo for the Barbie movie. We got Shang-Chi that comes in and does a video for
Simu Liu. Yes, his real name is Simu Liu.
I mean, so we got an Avenger coming in and letting the guys know that.
Well, because he's a Ken.
Yeah, he's a Ken in the new movie. So I mean, they have like a sing-off, which is
so Jojo and Jordan are hosting. They have a sing-off. They all have to write a song to the tune of "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," and they all get to pick what kind of Ken they are. So we've got like John is birthday suit Ken, Dotun is space Ken, Xavier's sugar daddy Ken, Caleb's cowboy Ken. They're all different kinds of like Kens, and they're all going up there doing their darndest to sing their little songs that they wrote, which most of them are not singers, but this is all about pushing them out of their comfort zone, which they're all mostly like having a good time. Everybody's having a blast. Caleb comes up there, wrestler Caleb comes up there and blows everybody's socks off by actually like having good pipes. He is like singing. Which was
I don't know.
awesome.
I didn't like it. It didn't sound good to me. As much as he goes too hard. Like, like make it look like natural. Don't look like you're trying too hard. Like,
I don't think he looks like he's trying too hard. I think he's also a professional wrestler. Like that's kind of the vibe.
Yeah, tone it down a little bit, bro. Like I get that's what your profession is, but everything doesn't need to be a performance,
I don't know. I feel like he's genuine.
I mean, if he's so genuine, then why does he keep like showing up and like not getting these things? Like,
Just because I don't think Charity's really vibing with him.
Yeah,
I just don't think she is. Like,
I don't know. That's just because she probably does not feel that he's being genuine. I don't feel like he's being genuine. Like,
I think he's being genuine.
No,
I think he's a nice enough dude.
No, if I went up there, I would just be like, I mean, yeah, even to this day, like I'll be in a show where I'm singing. People are like, you sing? And I'm just like, yeah, But like he was like ready to go up there. He's like, I got a little something and, ready to go right now. When people start
I think that's a smart move. Like if you're actually talented at singing, why not use it?
I don't know. It didn't work, so
I think you're being a hater right now. Because
how am I being a hater? I'm being like honest about it. Like he's trying too hard, and he's showing up and not winning 2 in a row, where people are like, "Oh,
I know," which makes me feel bad for him because
yeah,
like,
I do feel bad for him.
Guy.
We can agree on that. I don't know. I mean, I think there for for the wrong reasons. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like.
I don't think he's there for the wrong reasons.
I don't think he's there for charity at all. I don't see like a vibe between them or anything. So, but that's just my opinion.
I mean, yeah, but I guess he's not even getting any time to like really show any vibe. But Sean goes up last, and he's like the most Ken looking out of all of them, and he just really hypes the crowd up, really gets the crowd going, pulls her up to kiss her, and so he wins the extra bit of time before the after party. And I don't like Sean. I don't. I just think he gives me like Jordan from seasons back vibes. He just like seems like very uppity. I don't like him.
I don't know. I feel like you're being a hater.
I could be, but I just don't like him. But at least I'm being honest about just not liking him. I just think he's very uppity and full of himself. So he wins that extra time. They're making out. They're doing whatever, which he finally, gets some time because he was the one talking about how he's barely had any time with her. So good for him. And then they get to the after party, and, Sean parades in like on his high horse. and takes her first, like singing his own song when everybody's already there, and takes her first, which of course, like, people are pissed about because they're like, you already got extra time. Some of us haven't even talked to her really. Like, why are you going to be that way? But
I like that move actually.
I mean, I think Charity kind of likes that move because she likes people who know what they want. But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's like if everyone's going to be like a negative Nancy, I'm going to just take my girl and walk out the room, you know? So it's just kind of like they set them up to be like, all right, well, if y'all don't want to hang with me, I'm going to hang with Charity. So that move alone, you know, I thought was pretty smooth and confident. Like, you know, I like the fact that like he's getting hated on by everyone there, and then he's just like, I don't care, I'm just going to do me. So in that moment, I thought it was a good move. And it worked.
And the rest of the after party goes pretty well. John continues to be one of my faves, and he continues to be staying in his own lane, which is smart. And he is, you know, showing that he's a good guy to Charity, and they always have good combos. She definitely has her eyes on Dotun, and I think I'm saying his name right. And she actually brings him to her room to have like a little bit more of a separate, intimate area for them to talk, because I think he definitely did really well at the Barbie thing, because you could tell he was like pushing himself out of his comfort zone, and she like recognized that, and I think she's really good about like understanding what makes him feel more comfortable, and like they just kind of get each other. And so they, you know, kind of have a deeper conversation. They talk more about stuff, and he ends up getting the group date rose. And some people didn't get time, and of course some of the dudes are blaming that on Sean, because they're all like, why did you take her first? Like, some of us haven't even talked to her, you already got extra time. And they're a little pissed. But
I don't understand how I mean, I guess that's the part where I don't get like how these nights go. Like, is there only time for a couple guys to talk to her at this thing, or is everyone just like chilling and thinking that there's more time than there actually is, and just they don't make it?
No, I think that's like how the producers come into play, about like, I think some are in some ears telling people to not go, and some are in some ears telling them to go, or whatever. It's all, they do this on purpose so that the tension is there. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, well, they should take some more initiative. Time is running out for these men. So yeah, I mean, we get the next date.
1-on-1.
Yeah, so
it's with Warwick.
Yeah, this was hard to watch.
Like, yeah, it was hard to watch. Everyone was like, you know, maybe he's a silent killer. I totally forgot about him. Maybe like blah, blah, blah. He seems pretty quiet. Nobody really knows enough about him. And Charity's definitely like taking him on the stage, and she says that, you know, she thinks he's really cute, but she wants to learn more about him. So that's why she took him on this 1-on-1. So they get all super dressed up and go to Belmont Amusement Park, which this is like, once again, we're getting two, you know, mainstays of the Bachelorette franchise, which is we got the helicopter at the beginning, and we're getting the like acting like big kids date now here for this 1-on-1. And so they're going around playing with the amusement park and whatever, and they seemingly are having a good time. And then like there's when they're not doing stuff, there's like awkward silences. She gets a little like pissed that he's like not really like bantering with her or scooping her ice cream for her when they go to the little ice cream area, and they're
what do you
just
think this was? What's this guy's deal?
I just think he's awkward, and I think he was like I think this date was done super late, and I think, you know, he probably didn't prep the right way, and he seemed exhausted. I mean, he fell asleep in the car on the way home, but so. Because he kept saying, he's like, amusement parks make me tired. Like, he like barely said anything. He, in his little interviews, he's like, I think we're connecting. And meanwhile, she's like, what the fuck? And when they're talking a little bit more, he says that his weakness is communicating. LOL. No shit. Because she's all like, you know, I really think I am a great communicator in relationships. And he's like, And then as they awkwardly sit at their like dinner portion, she's like, yeah, so like, I can't give you the rose. I'm really sorry. blah, blah, blah. And he's all like, yeah, I totally understand. And she like walks him out. He doesn't really seem like super hurt by it. He's just all like, yeah, we're not on the same page, and then falls asleep in the back of the car. So
yeah, I wanted to get him off. It was such a waste of a show right there. You know, they were dressed to the nines. Just like, I don't know, like, you know, is it like no self-awareness? Like, it just seemed like he didn't even know there was like cameras like in his face and stuff. It was weird.
Don't know. Yeah, it definitely feels like, yeah, he wasn't he wasn't even a good match for her, and I just feel like he froze up on camera and just didn't know how to act. I don't know.
Yeah, so moving along, where does this bring us?
So we get to the, like, before the cocktail party, and then, like, the cocktail party and rose ceremony time. So, Brayden is, you know, this is where I'm saying from earlier, Brayden runs his mouth too much. He needs to stop talking so much. He doesn't need to tell everybody his every innermost thought, and that's why I'm like, I think he might think confidence is, like, just boldly saying shit, where I'm like, you don't have to tell everybody everything. You're telling on yourself. Because when he keeps saying stuff about being all like, I don't know if I could get engaged to her. I don't know if I can get engaged to her. I could probably date her, man, dude, bro. He says like that 5 different times. He's like, but like, you know, I just don't think I don't know about being engaged. It's crazy. Like, especially after she's been dating like 19 other dudes, 20 other dudes, some of my friends, like whatever. And so, of course, these people who are feeling insecure or like whatever, they're gonna use that. They're gonna do what we tell them not to do, which is tell Charity during their time. But like the only people that we see that behave well during this cocktail party are Joey, who like did this whole thing with the letters from his grandpa and whatever, and Xavier, who gave her something that he knit for her. So like they're like vibing, having a good time, staying in their lanes, being smart. Meanwhile, Aaron B, who had a one-on-one date last week, was all like, man, I gotta protect my girl. Let me protect my girl. Knowing that this is rule numero uno, is that you don't take your own time to talk about somebody else.
Especially when you're ahead. Especially when you're ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Especially, yeah, you already have had a one-on-one. Don't do it.
Yeah, like Charity can make her own decision. She can see her own stuff, or, you know, make her own mistakes. But, you know, and I just hated how he was just like, and this is not to like get me further or whatever, you know, I'm doing this because like, you know, I got her best interest.
I'm doing this because I care about you.
Yeah.
Like he kept being like, it was like all like for her best interest, which like I can get how he's maybe conceptualizing that. But I mean, like in general, you're doing it because you said that you're protecting her, which means you're protecting your relationship. Like you're protecting what you two have, and you know.
And so it's another you know party where she just gets pissed off and it makes it all about Brayden again. So it's like you're just doing the opposite. Brayden's gonna be able to talk. He already explained himself to her, so he's just like, you know, yeah, these guys, I've told it to them. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but like it's already like what I was telling you. He's like, you know, this is actually kind of where I was like agreeing with him in the sense that like, you know, he's talking about how these guys are so sure and stuff. It's like, that's not real. You know, it's just not. It can't be. And
which I was agreeing with him on that too, and like but I could tell why Charity was upset, because she's like, I've been talking to this motherfucker about this shit so many times. Like I want him to be there, like for me. Why? Because that's the thing. It's like at the end of the day, she's not upset really like with Brayden having those thoughts, because she's like been there. I've been in your shoes. Like I get it. But like she's like, why are you talking to other people? Why are you saying stuff in the house that is like making it seem like you're not actually here for me? Like she's like, that's I think the issue that she has the most, is that he is saying stuff around the house that is then getting back to her, and like she's like, why do I have to then keep choosing who I'm believing? Because
it's really not his fault though. Like I really don't think, I just think it's the fact that Charity is taking a liking to him. He's kind of got a head up over everyone else and stuff, and I think that's why. So, I think that's why it's going down like that. Adrian last week was kind of that guy, like, hating on Brayden, and we'll see where that gets him and stuff. But
I mean, even Xavier says, like, when, everyone's back kind of like talking and stuff, and when she grabs Brayden to talk to him, Xavier like says to Aaron B like that it was kind of snake shit to bring it up because it's impacting everybody else's time. Like, it's gonna impact. He's like, he's like, you pretty much made it all about Brayden again. Like, this isn't working in your favor. Like, I don't know why, you did this, because now it's impacting everybody else. And not really, like, it is furthering you, but not in the way that you wanted it to.
And not even that, but like, he's already got time, so it's double annoying. Like, you already got a one-on-one date, so it's like, dude, you're a hater. Like, it just cut it out. And like, there's plenty of dudes who don't get time because she cuts the party early because she's upset. And we head to the and he's already got a rose, and he's already got a rose, so it's like. It's like he's like, no, like in the past, like people have gotten their rose taken away before. What are you doing, dude?
Right, which he could have. I mean, that's what he said. That was when he made his whole they definitely set up the show to show that he was like, he had the dream about his rose being taken away. So then that was like building that whole like, ooh, will he get his rose taken away thing? And they really kind of dragged out, maybe it's because I was watching this very late last night, but they really dragged out the rose ceremony because she goes through, gives Aaron B a rose still, because she does still like him. And
gave it to him first. Like, I was like, that's
she gave him the first rose. She still likes him. She still trusts him, but she still likes and trusts Brayden too.
I don't know. Sometimes I do think the leads will use like snitches in the house and kind of like in the beginning kind of like advocate for that because they want to hear what's going on in the house, but that's not an attractive trait. Like, it's not something that gets you really far, to the end and stuff. It's like, I think in the beginning, as they're getting like a feel, the lead likes a little snitch. So I
mean, she really did like her date with Aaron B though. Yeah. She was like very comfortable on that date. So I think I think you could have some, I think that has some validity about maybe using him as a scope, as a. But
I also think it's validating him in the sense that like, you're going to get the rose first, but I'm also going to keep Brayden around. So I'm actually not listening to you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like, I'm listening. I trust you, but also like, I trust my feelings with Brayden.
Yeah, so it's like, here, take this first rose so you don't get butthurt, as much when I, keep...
When Brayden keeps his rose, because Brayden already had it.
It's a pity first rose to me, but whatever. So, we end up getting, they make this like weird dramatic ending where
it seems, I literally had to rewind because I'm like, wait, did I miss something? Yeah. But it was like she literally just went away and they're gonna see if she was like gonna call Brayden to like take his rose and then give his rose out to somebody else, but she doesn't. She just comes back and Jesse comes back and he's like, to those of you who don't have roses, say your goodbyes. Like, it was bullshit. I thought it was dumb. And so Adrian didn't last long after his stuff last week, and Aaron S., who was the one who kind of was hating on Sean earlier in the date, all go home. So Brayden gets to see another day, but I wonder if he keeps up with the like insecurity around the different stuff and showing it in ways that makes, because he really put his foot in his mouth last week, and I think he learned from that. But I could easily see him putting his foot in his mouth again, because like if he's gonna come at Charity's character or his trust in her or whatever, then she's gonna have issues. She's not into that at all.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It definitely looks like some beef is gonna go down with Aaron B and Brayden. So yeah. I'm kind of here for it. At this point, like, it really looks like Aaron B's being stupid. Like, you know, he's instigating stuff because he's
fragile masculinity is gonna come into play next week. For
if
sure.
he was as confident as he thinks he is, like, he wouldn't be, you know, hating on Brayden. Because from what I'm seeing, Brayden is not doing enough. Like, they're trying to make him a villain, but he's not. He's really not a villain. He's just a young, stupid guy that, like, you know, is just kind of wears his heart on his sleeve.
I think, and I thought they were going to try to make Sean more of a villain this episode, but I think they tried to, and, like, they sort of did. But, like, yeah, I don't really think we have an actual villain.
The dude that went home was going to be the villain. What's his name? The one that started, like, hating on Sean?
Aaron S.
The other Aaron, he went home?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he was trying to be cool, like, I'm not worried about this, but then he was just, like, actually hating on everyone. So it was just like,
he was all like, if she wants a real man, which I'm like, ew, gross. Like, once again, fragile masculinity.
Yeah, that guy
She's
sucked.
like, he's a pretty boy, but if she wants a real man, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, he just wasn't able to command anything. So, well, that was, you know, this week's episode. V, who was, like, your MVP and LVP this week?
My MVP of the week was Dotun, because I just think he is the sweetest, and he put himself outside of his comfort zone and got rewarded for it. So, you know, I have to give it up to him. I think he's definitely there for the right reasons, and it looks like he gets a one-on-one date next week. So, huzzah!
Yeah, he's definitely a sweetie. Well, who was your LVP?
I had bounced between a bunch because I feel like I have more LVPs than MVPs usually. But I just Sean, because I just didn't like his attitude. And because he thought he was, like, the Kenist, and I just was like, ew. And I just don't like his vibe. And then Aaron B, because he's being an idiot doing what we say you should never do by, you know, by bringing up other people during your one-on-one time.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of, you know, be devil's advocate in the sense that my MVP was actually Sean. Because, yeah, he when he got up there, he looked the most like a Ken. You know, and you can't help it that he has one of those faces you just, like, want to punch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he has a punchable face.
But, you know, honestly, when I took a look at his you know, his moves this episode, you know, he went up there, he obviously, you know, killed it in Charity's eyes, and then he came back just trying to have, like, a little fun. Like, I didn't see it as malicious, like, the way he came in. He was just like, yo, boys, like, it was my day. Like, you know, it was his day. And he wasn't expecting to come into, like, a room full of, like, miserable assholes that were just talking shit about him. So it's like, you know, that kind of compounded on his entrance. So, like, I really didn't think his entrance was malicious. And then, you know, when Aaron S was coming at him, like, whatever, he was talking shit to him, he was just like, all right. And then he pulled her aside and had his moment with him, like, with Charity. So, like, I thought that was pretty smooth. Like, he didn't clap back at Aaron S. Like, you know, he didn't, like, try to defend himself or whatever. He just kind of, like, let it roll off his shoulder, and I thought that was a smooth move. So, he got my MVP this week. And then my LVP was obviously Aaron B, because, like, dude, you're making stupid moves, like, really dumb moves. I can't respect them. And I know he's trying his best to be all noble and stuff, and it's just like, ugh, it makes me sick.
Gotta protect my girl.
Yeah, it just makes me sick. So yeah, LVP goes to Aaron B this week, and, you know, hopefully we can get him out next week somehow with his drama with Brayden, because I really am not feeling him at all. But I don't know. These episodes have really been like having me be a flip-flopper, because Brayden went up again on this episode. Like, I'm just kind of understanding him a little better in the sense that, like, he wears his heart on his sleeve.
I didn't like him for half of the episode, and I understood him for half of the episode. Like, you know, like, that's sort of where I'm at with him. I don't know if I'm ever going to be team Brayden, just because I just think he'd be doing too much.
Yeah. But sometimes I feel like if you have, like, 100%, you just won't make it. Like, I feel like he has like maybe like the perfect mixture of things that really will keep him around for charity. Like, no human is gonna be like 100% like thumbs up for everyone, you know?
Yeah, I just don't want Charity to feel like she has to take care of him, which is something she talked about at the beginning of the episode. So
yeah, I mean,
let's
get to know some more of these guys. I'm sure there's a better pick than probably Brayden, but right now he's just making.
Right now, I love Joey. Joey's probably my top pick.
Yeah.
For her.
Well, we'll have to see how they actually vibe when they get a chance.
Or John. I love John too.
Yeah. Yeah. Joey's definitely like kind of got that laid back swag, almost like what Brayden should be doing. But,
right.
You know, we're gonna have to see what happens. What do you guys think? Like, what do you think about Brayden? What do you think about Aaron B's moves? What are your thoughts? Give us some thought provoking stuff so you can be comment of the week. And you know, is there anything else going on in Bachelor Nation that we gotta talk about?
Yes. So Bachelor in Paradise Canada season 2 had its finale this past week, which is like a year after they filmed. So finally, their two main couples got to like come out of hiding. So Joey Kircher, who is from Bachelor in Paradise Canada, and then he is engaged to Tessa Tooks, who was on Clayton's season. And then Chelsea Vaughn, who was on Matt James's season, is with Austin Tinsley, who is from Katie Thurston's season. So and he moved to New York to be with her, and actually Tessa moved from New York, I believe, to be in Toronto, I think, with her guys.
How do you hide that for a year?
A year. I don't know, dude.
It's like, do people just not care? Well, we do.
I don't know.
We do here at Future Bachelor. Anything else Bachelor Nation related?
Yes. So Katie Thurston is going to be one of the stars of the newest season of FBoy Island, which is now going to be on CW. It got picked up by CW. It had been on the artist formerly known as HBO Max. And so she, hasn't seen a lot of success. She got her and Blake broke off their engagement. She dated John Hershey for a while, and Hershey, and they broke it off. So she, trying it again. And one of the main producers of the show is a former Bachelor producer, so it kind of makes sense to me. But
I'm gonna make a prediction here. This is not gonna be where she finds love.
Yeah, no shit. But I think they definitely
I wasn't really feeling
the
trailer for it either. It was just like,
no, the trailer was just kind of like, she's like, what, F-boys? Because I feel like they definitely grabbed her for the idea that, like, that's kind of her vibe, is that she's going to sniff out an F-boy, or whatever.
I don't know. The acting was just really bad in the promo. Like, I don't know. I was just like bugged, like, it gave me the ick.
It wasn't great. It wasn't great. I will agree.
So, yeah, interesting. But I don't think I caught the second season of FBoy Island, which is probably why it got canceled on HBO. But they're bringing it to this.
I watched like parts of it. I didn't get to finish it.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not a huge fan of Nikki Glazer, but I know the fact that she's.
I love Nikki Glazer.
I know that she's a comedian, and Katie Thurston's trying to be an up and coming comedian. So I wonder if they'll become good friends after that or something. But. Yeah, anyways, so yeah, what do you guys think of Katie Thurston being on FBoy Island, or what do you think about Americans finding love on Bachelor in Paradise Canada? What are these things that you think about? Let us know all the thoughts in the comments below so we can shout you out next episode. And do not forget to catch our podcast, full podcasts available wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, wherever else they are, get distributed. It's one click, you get distributed at all the stores. So yeah, just go find us, and we're going to get into another segment here where we talk about pop culture. You can get all of that on the full podcast. Listen to us in your car while you're working out, while you're cleaning the place, cooking breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or just fall asleep to us, And
I don't know if we're that soothing, but maybe
I don't know. Yeah, so check us out, and we'll be back with week 4 next week.
Future Bachelor Podcast.